It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the films of February 7th, 2003. We got 3 films to look at today, so let's go ahead and jump right on into it. We'll start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson in a romantic comedy, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Ah, yes, that glorious 5-year stretch when Hollywood was really trying to make Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey the next Hollywood power couple. And those 2 brief flashes of promise with this and then Fool's Gold, which basically killed that. But this one was the more successful of the 2, I'll give you that. It's based off of a picture book of the same name. The book has no narrative, only a list of comedic dating don'ts. So the characters and plot are basically created for the film. And in the film, you have an advertising executive, Benjamin Barry, played by Matthew McConaughey, who makes a bet that he can make any woman fall in love with him. While women's magazine writer Andy Anderson, played by Kate Hudson, plans to write an article about how she led a man to dump her. Putting them at cross purposes after they choose each other after quarries, Andy employs a number of the dating don'ts from the picture book in her efforts to get Ben to break up with her. But of course, you know how these movies go. I mean, they're going to have that third act breakup, and then they're going to realize that they were really meant for each other, and then you're going to have them get back together again. And I'm not even talking about like the actual movie. Like, if you saw the trailer for this, the full trailer for this, then you pretty much have a good idea of what this movie basically is. And yet, people still bought it up. I mean, I guess you could make the argument that it was opening up around Valentine's Day, and the romantic film to take for the couples to go see, and it cleaned up at the box office. It did really, really well. I mean, made over $177 million worldwide. So I guess people really liked it. But I don't know. I put this somewhere in the category of some films we've recently talked about, like Sweet Home Alabama and Made in Manhattan. There's films that you see them on TV a lot. They were big hits when they came out, but I really don't get the appeal of it. I really do not. I don't think Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey are really that good together. I mean, they're great actors on their own, but they do not have a whole lot of real chemistry to them. And just because this was a big hit, I didn't see why they felt the need to try to create the next big Hollywood power couple where they have to be in movies together and it will be instant success. Because the next film they did together, Fool's Gold, was a film that was just a mess on so many levels. Like, the script itself couldn't even save that film from becoming just a total disaster in general. And in this film, I didn't really buy their relationship together at all. But again, it just mostly is because of the fact that it's a story we've seen done to death so many times that it just gets really boring really fast, and you know exactly where they're going to go from this point from the point the movie begins to the point the movie ends. And there's no real surprises in here. I mean, yeah, there's a great cast in here to really save the film. That could save the film in general. I mean, you've got Bebe Neuwirth from Cheers, of course, Lilith, Adam Goldberg, Thomas Lennon, Robert Klein, Catherine Hahn, Marvin Hamlish has a cameo in here as well. There are names in here that I guess help to make the supporting cast around here kind of save it a little bit, but even then, it's not worth it to really go through the trials and tribulations of the film, knowing that you're going to get what you pretty much are expected to get from a film like this. But hey, everybody else seems to like it. This is one of those ones where I'm just like, I don't get the appeal. So that is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. So let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, which is another comedy that didn't do as well as I think people wanted it to do. Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson in the sequel to Shanghai Noon, Shanghai Knights. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. After a Chinese father is murdered and a treasure is stolen, two Chinese siblings and a friend travel to London in search of the sacred treasure and stop the evil that threatens the city and get justice for their father and continue the legacy that he left behind. The two siblings are played by Jackie Chan and Fan Wong, and you also have Owen Wilson back again. Aaron Taylor-Johnson's in this film too, one of his early film roles. Also Donnie Yen is in here as well. And this is directed by David Dobkin, who had just done Clay Pigeons a couple years prior, and went on to eventually become a pretty prolific director, starting with Wedding Crashers and then continuing on for much of the decade after that. And the film was a hit. It did actually make more money than the original film did, but something about this movie, I don't know. Maybe Disney was hoping for more from it, but they never made a third film. They talked about doing a third film for the longest time. In fact, in 2015. MGM, who had owned the rights to it, said they were making a third film, and it actually looked like they were going full speed ahead on it. And then it just kind of died down. There was an update in 2016 that Jared Hess was going to direct it, and then there hasn't been anything since it's 2024 now. That's almost 10 years now, 8 years to be exact, when the last time that they talked about this movie in general. And I don't know why they didn't do it, because like I said, it was a hit when it came out. Financially, critically, not so much, but I mean, it made money, but then again, maybe that's not what they needed to do. Maybe the money wasn't the factor in this film. Maybe they just didn't want to make it because there's literally nothing of value to these films whatsoever. I mean, the Rush Hour films, the sequels, as bad as you want to say that they are, there's at least something going on. The chemistry between Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker is there. There is no chemistry between Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson whatsoever. And it wasn't even that in the first movie either. The first movie is one of those films that just like, it came out, did well, and I never got the appeal of it. I tried watching both of these movies again not too long ago. I still don't get the appeal for them. I don't think they're really that funny. I don't think they're really that clever. I don't think it's really that interesting. It's just kind of a dull film. These two films are just really dull films that are kind of boring. They don't have anything of noteworthiness to them. And I don't know. I just feel like they weren't the good films that I think everyone made them out to be. They're just kind of films that, now the more I think about it, there probably is a good reason why they haven't made another one of these, because there's really nothing there to make this worth a watch. I mean, it does not hold up well over time, and it's mostly a boring film, as is the first film is. Nothing of value comes from these movies whatsoever, and yeah, I really don't have anything much more to say about it. I just never really got into these movies. And even after all these years later and giving them another shot, I still don't see the appeal of it, quite honestly. So can we have at least one comedy this weekend, save the entire weekend in general? Let's see if LL Cool J and Gabrielle Union can do that with the last one we have here. Deliver Us From Eva.
Marriage can be heaven. Sister-in-law can be hell. But don't mind us, we're just having sex.
So she'll come back in, what, 2 minutes?
And some play he might be the man to rid us of evil.
Try to get that woman out, go down and play her Hall of Fame.
Think they can work miracles.
What's the accident rates on these things?
Well, that's right there.
From the writer-director of The Brothers, LL Cool J, Gabrielle Union, Deliver Us From Eva.
Think I might love her.
Forgot the rules, don't feel. I'm like a pimp with a health plan. Rated R. Starts February 7th.
So you have Gabrielle Union playing Eva Dandridge, who's a very uptight young woman who constantly meddles in the affairs of her sisters and their husbands. Her in-laws, who are tired of Eva interfering in their lives, decide to set her up with someone so she can leave him alone. They end up paying Ray, the local playboy played by LL Cool J, $5,000 to date her. The plan goes by smoothly, but trouble comes when Ray actually falls in love with Eva. And like we saw before, hilarity ensues. So yeah, it's kind of similar to How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, except of the two films, this one's probably a little bit better. Not by a lot, though. I mean, it's fine. I guess it's not really that terrible in general, but I do find it kind of intriguing that it is a modern update of The Taming of the Shrew by William Shakespeare. And you can definitely see it if you know that story and watch this movie in general. You can see a lot of the parallels in here. And I think that overall, I thought LL Cool J and Gabrielle Union were a good couple together. I think they actually do have a lot of good chemistry together. I also find it kind of interesting that LL Cool J actually used his real name for the credits here, James Todd Smith, which that's kind of unusual because everyone knows him as LL Cool J. But I find that kind of interesting that they actually casted him with that name here, even though it doesn't show up in that trailer there. But I mean, the cast overall is fine, I guess. And just the film itself is kind of your predictable romantic comedy. That's really the biggest flaw of it, is the story. I mean, yeah, your leads could easily help the film get past the problems of a generic script, but in this particular movie, it just doesn't quite really live up to that. It's just a film that feels like there's some good ideas there. There's a possibility for something there. There's something like there may be something there that wasn't there before, to quote Beauty and the Beast, but it just doesn't really show up what it really needs to. And there's not a really good cast involved here. Talking about the guy who did The Brothers, Gary Hardwick, but other than that, though, and here's a little bit of interesting information. Mel Gibson actually has a cameo in here as himself. That feels very interesting. It's just kind of random, too. Like, he just shows up there. It's just like, what's Mel Gibson doing here? We don't know. It's just a little cameo, but yeah, other than that, though, not much more I could say about it, honestly. Like I said, if I had to choose between this and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, I'd probably pick this one, but it's by a slim margin, too. Neither film is really all that great, but at least this one, I like that it was trying to do something a little bit different. I just wish the story didn't go down the predictable rom-com route. But, yeah, not much more to say about that one. Deliver Us From Eva. So with that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies, and we get to Valentine's weekend next time around with two notable films, including Ben Affleck and Daredevil with Jennifer Garner, Colin Farrell, and Michael Clark Duncan, and also Disney's sequel that they decided to put on the big screen, which is really odd. I mean, Return of Neverland went to the big screen, did well, so they said, hey, let's take The Jungle Book 2 and put it on the big screen, see what happens, and we'll talk about both of those movies next time around. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please do the place on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. So, with that said, I am off. I will see you guys next time, and until then, as always, take care.